CreepyCorner stories.
Hey folks, before we dive into tonight's stories, I want to give a huge thank you to Kieran Tibbetts and Lisa Collin for supporting the channel and being amazing members. If you'd like to help me keep creating these stories, feel free to become a member. It really helps the channel grow. I'm planning to continue exploring more than just the dark web tales. So if you enjoy what you hear tonight, you're in the right place. Now, grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's step into another amazing night with you and me together. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. It means the world to me and helps keep the horror alive. And tell me in the comments, what kind of story hits you the hardest? The ones that feel too real, or the ones that could actually happen to someone you know? I created fake kidnapping videos for dark web auctions. One of the victims started asking for me by name. Yo, what's up Reddit? I've been sitting on this story for a while now, and honestly, it still messes with my head. This all happened about a year and a half ago, right when everything in the world was still a mess from lockdowns, and everyone was trying to hustle money online. For context, I'm 22 now. At the time, I was freshly dropped out of college, stuck back at my mom's house in New Jersey, working part-time at a Starbucks. I was broke, pissed off at life, and bored out of my mind. If you've ever had that feeling of waking up and wondering if anything you're doing even matters, then you get it. So one night, I'm on Discord with some people I met on a private horror forum. We'd send each other cursed videos, urban legends, all that weird stuff. One guy, username was at Byte Drain, sends me this link, not on the regular internet, but through ZeroNet, which is like the deep web, but even more decentralized. The link was just labeled, actors needed, no experience required, discretion a must. Okay, weird, right? But I was curious. I clicked. The site looked like Craigslist, if Craigslist had been designed by a serial killer. Plain white background, black courier font, no logo, no CSS. Just a few job listings. One of them said, looking for actors to play victims in simulated hostage scenarios. No nudity, no real violence, just realistic acting. We provide all props, gear, and instructions, paid in Bitcoin. You will not be filmed on your own property. Transportation provided. $1,000 per shoot, I know. It sounds sus. It was sus. But I also had less than $100 in my checking account, and my car was on its last breath. So I replied. A guy messaged me 2 hours later on Telegram. His username was just S4M. He had no profile picture. His first message just said, "Can you follow instructions exactly and stay silent about this work?" I said yes. Stupid. I know. He told me he'd pick me up at 3 a.m. that Friday. I'd be blindfolded and taken to the filming location. Afterward, I'd be paid in Bitcoin. The only rule, no phones, no talking during the transport, and never ask questions about the crew or clients. It sounded like some eyes wide shut kind of stuff. But $1,000 for a few hours of acting. I figured I'd just act like I was tied up, scream a bit, maybe cry, and be done with it. Friday comes. I tell my mom I'm crashing at a friend's house. I wait outside at 2:55 a.m., hoodie on, backpack with a change of clothes and water. At 3:01, a matte black SUV pulls up. Windows tinted so dark it looked like Vanta Black. Guy gets out, full ski mask, no words, just hands me a black blindfold and motions for me to get in the back. Again, I know how this sounds. I was desperate, and stupid. I figured they had to be legit enough if they were offering Bitcoin and contracts. So I get in. They drive for maybe 45 minutes. The SUV didn't play music, and none of the guys spoke. Just this weird low static sound playing through the speakers the whole time. Finally, we stop. The guy helps me out, still blindfolded, and leads me inside somewhere cold. Like concrete basement cold. They take the blindfold off. I'm in what looks like an abandoned warehouse, or maybe a huge basement of an old office building. The walls are covered in gray plastic sheets. There's a fake metal chair in the center with zip ties on the arms. 2 cameras are set up on tripods. One of the guys, I call him Director now, has a clipboard and a weirdly calm voice, like he worked at Target or something. He hands me a script. It says, "Scene. You are kidnapped, confused, restrained. You do not know where you are. You plead for your life. You cry. You scream. You beg. 3 to 5 minutes of raw fear." There was a red line at the bottom that said, "Don't break character. Do not look directly at the camera unless instructed." So I did it. I sat in the chair. They zip-tied me in, put a fake gag in my mouth, poured a bit of fake blood on my shirt. One of the masked guys grabbed the camera and started filming. I was told to start, and I did. I screamed. I cried. I begged. I didn't have to fake much. It was all pretty terrifying. But honestly, the scariest part was how normal they all acted. No one said a word. They just filmed. When it was done, they untied me, handed me a wet wipe, and said, "We'll contact you if you're needed again." A few hours later, I was dropped off at the same corner. My phone was back in my bag, nothing stolen. 0.03 BTC was sent to my wallet. That was around $1,000 at the time. Over the next few months, I did 3 more videos like that. Each one got weirder. First time, it was just me. Second time, there was a girl, maybe 17. Super quiet, wouldn't look me in the eye. Third time, I had to pretend I'd been caught trying to escape. That one got more physical. They threw me to the ground, dragged me by the collar, screamed in my face. Still no real harm, but it felt off. Still, money. Until the 4th video. That's when everything changed. They brought me to the same place, but this time, I wasn't the only actor. There were 4 of us. 2 girls, 2 guys. None of us knew each other. One of the girls was already crying before the cameras even rolled. I figured she was just good at acting. Then one of the guys leaned over to me while we were waiting and whispered, "Yo, is this supposed to be real or what?" I didn't know how to answer. But then, during the filming, the girl, the one crying early, she started screaming for real. I mean, screaming. She kicked the chair over, tried to run. 2 of the crew tackled her hard. She hit the floor face first. There was blood. Real blood. That was the first time I ever saw one of the crew panic. They cut the cameras. Someone yelled something in Russian. Another guy grabbed a walkie-talkie and said something fast in a different language I didn't recognize. And then, the girl looked up. Her nose was bleeding. She locked eyes with me and said something I'll never forget. "Why are you helping them? Don't you remember me? You made the first one, brother." My heart dropped. She said it again, louder. "You made the first one. You picked me. You picked me for the auction." They pulled her back into another room, slammed the door, and everything went dead quiet. One of the masked guys came up to me, didn't say anything, just stared, then handed me a plain black duffel bag with $5,000 in cash inside. and just said, "You're done." That was 5 months ago, but last week I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Just one line. "She's still alive. She wants to see you." Attached was a video file. No context. I watched it. It was the girl, in a dark room, breathing heavy, face pale, blood under her fingernails, looking straight into the camera. She said, "He made the first one. He sold me." Then she smiled and whispered, "And now, he belongs to us." For 3 days after that video showed up on my phone, I barely slept. Every creak in the hallway sounded like footsteps. Every car that slowed down outside felt like it was there for me. I did what everyone says you should never do. I watched the video again, slowed it down frame by frame. At the 15-second mark, right before the girl looked into the camera, I saw something behind her, a reflection on the wall. It wasn't a window or a mirror. It was a glossy black square, like a TV screen turned off. But in the reflection, I swear I saw my own bedroom. Same IKEA desk, same LED strip light I bought from Target, same crack on the wall behind my monitor. So I tore my room apart, checked every inch for hidden cameras, mics, anything. Nothing. Then I noticed a new folder on my desktop. I didn't make it. It was just called LOT14. Inside were 50 short clips, all grainy, all night vision. Every single one of them filmed in my room. They showed me sleeping, eating, editing, even me watching the first video. I unplugged my Wi-Fi, tossed my laptop into the bathtub, water running. It made this little sizzling sound, and I just stared at it like it could explain itself. Next morning there was an envelope on the front porch. No address, just my name written in blue marker. Inside was a USB drive and a note that said, "You left without finishing your contract. Watch before deleting." I shouldn't have plugged it in, but of course I did. The folder on the drive was named Rehearsals. The files weren't of me, at least not me exactly. They were different people in different rooms, but all looked like they were playing me. Same haircut, same Starbucks apron, same mannerisms, even the way they rubbed their temples when they were stressed. One of them, File 027, made my stomach drop, because in that one, the actor was wearing my hoodie, the gray one with the bleach stain from when I tried to clean paint off it last summer, and behind him was the same basement from the shoots. There was something scratched into the concrete wall behind him. "We don't act, we replace." I started digging. Look, I know you're not supposed to poke around in the deep web, but when something like that happens, curiosity wins. I used Tails, a fresh USB OS, went through Tor, bounced off 4 VPNs. I searched for Lot 14 Dark Web Auction. I wish I hadn't. I found a forum thread archived 6 months ago called Kid Lot Auctions, real feed only. It looked like a message board for collectors. Each post was labeled with a lot number, a short description, and a timer. Lot 14 had this note: status, replacement confirmed. Subject, showing strong memory bleed, preparing for re-upload. Underneath was a still image. It was me, only off, like a face swap that almost works, but not quite. The eyes were too wide, the smile was wrong, the background was my house, but reversed, mirror flipped, and the comments under it said things like, "Believable copy, voice sync 99% accurate, emotional decay faster than expected." I slammed my laptop shut. 2 nights later, I started hearing my own voice outside the window. Not whispers, talking, like I was having a conversation. I recorded it on my phone. You can hear 2 voices. Both sound like me. one calm, one panicking. At the 0031 mark, the calm one says, "We're not done filming." The next day, my manager at Starbucks texted me asking if I was okay. I said yeah. Why? She sent me a picture from the store's security cam. I was in it, behind the counter, working, except I hadn't been there in 2 weeks. I drove to the store, heart pounding. My name tag wasn't in my locker anymore. There was already another one that said Nate too. When I asked my coworker about it, she just stared at me and said, "You already clocked in, dude. Why are you wearing different clothes?" That's when I saw him. Other me. Same hair, same face, same coffee stain on the sleeve. He looked right at me, smiled, and said, "You missed your cue." I left. Didn't even grab my keys off the counter. Back home, everything was different in tiny ways. My photos on the wall were slightly rearranged. My toothbrush was a different color. My mom's voice on the answering machine sounded off, like someone trying to remember how she used to sound. That night, I checked my phone. Another video. Same girl, same room. She whispered, "He's not you anymore." And then the frame glitched. For a split second, there was a date on the bottom corner. Tomorrow's date. I don't know if any of this makes sense written down. I just know I keep waking up to that static sound from the SUV. And sometimes, when I look in the mirror, my reflection blinks a little too late. Edit 1. I tried posting the video of the two voices. The file corrupted mid-upload. Now my phone won't turn off. The screen just shows a black background with white text. Lot 14. Replacement complete. If this post disappears, don't look for me. If someone messages you offering an acting job that pays in Bitcoin, don't reply. I started keeping every light in the apartment on, even the microwave clock. It didn't matter. The shadows still moved on their own. 3 days after that last post, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. support@cinetask.io. The subject line said, "Your performance data is incomplete." The message body was blank except for a button. Resume session. I hovered my cursor over it for a long time. Then I clicked. The screen went black. Then a white window opened, like an old video conference call. The camera turned on automatically, and I saw myself. Only, the lighting didn't match. The me in the video was sitting in a room with red light. My walls were still white. Then text appeared underneath the video feed. "Say your name." I said it. There was a 1-second delay. The other me said it too. Perfectly. Then new text. "Say it again." We said it together, but this time, the other version's mouth kept moving after I stopped, and I swear I heard it whisper something, even though the audio meter didn't spike. It whispered, "You're almost ready." After that, weird things started showing up around my place again. Small things at first. A key taped under the sink. A sticky note inside the fridge that said, "Scene 2, hallway." A faint red X drawn under the peephole of my front door. I tried ignoring it. Tried working on something normal, like editing old footage for my YouTube channel. But when I opened Premiere, there was a new project already there. Mirror_session_final_cut. It was a video of me standing in the bathroom. Only, it wasn't a recording I ever made. The file was dated 2 weeks in the future. I watched it. Future me looked exhausted, pale, talking directly to the camera. He said, "If you're seeing this, it means the bleed's complete. Don't fight it. Don't look in the mirror after 3 a.m. They use reflections to sync." He leaned closer, his breath fogging the lens. "And whatever you do, don't answer the door Then the video cut to static. That night I heard a knock at exactly 3:07 a.m. I didn't move. Then a second knock. 3 sharp raps, like someone was counting. When I looked through the peephole, there was nobody there. But when I glanced down, something thin and white was slid under the door. A printed photo of me sleeping. In the background of the picture, standing right beside the bed, was another silhouette. Same height, same outline. Only the face was blurred, like motion blur in a single frame of a film reel. I packed a bag and drove straight to my friend Ryan's place in Philadelphia. Didn't tell him much, just said someone had been stalking me. Ryan tried to calm me down, made coffee, put on a dumb Netflix show. For a couple hours, I almost felt normal. Then his phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned, and said, why'd you send me a photo of yourself in my kitchen? I hadn't touched my phone all night. He showed me the message. It was a picture of me, standing right behind him, holding a knife from his counter. Ryan turned around so fast he dropped the phone. Nothing there. Then, behind us, the kitchen light flickered once, and for just a second, both our reflections in the microwave door stopped moving. We left that night, drove until sunrise, ended up in a cheap motel outside Baltimore, the kind with buzzing neon lights and carpet that smells like old cigarettes. I showered, sat on the bed, tried to breathe. The mirror above the sink started humming, low, like power lines. When I looked into it, the reflection was late again. Half a second maybe. Then it smiled, even though I didn't. I threw a towel over it, but from under the towel, I heard the faint click of a camera shutter. Morning. Ryan was gone. All his stuff, phone, wallet, keys, still on the nightstand. In his place, on the bed, was a single sheet of paper. It had a QR code printed on it, and one sentence, "Upload complete." When I scanned it with my phone, it opened a page with a looping video. It was Ryan, sitting somewhere dark. He looked at the camera and said, "He's still recording." Then the clip glitched, and the words, Session 3/5, ready for mirror merge, flashed on the bottom. I don't know what these people or things want, but every time I try to leave town, my GPS resets itself to one location, the same coordinates every time, an empty parking lot behind an old IKEA in Newark. When I finally gave up and went there, I found a single object sitting dead center of the lot. A mirror, full length, freestanding, perfectly clean, even in the rain, and taped to it, a note in blue marker. "You missed rehearsal too. Look closer." When I did, my reflection leaned forward before I did. It looked tired, but it smiled and mouthed, "Cut." The mirror went black, like a screen turning off. Edit 1. I got another email from support@cinetask.io. It just said, "Session 4 scheduled. Location confirmed." There was an attachment named mirror_session_invite.ics, a calendar event. The date is tomorrow at 3:07 a.m. And somehow it already says accepted. I didn't go to sleep the night the calendar invite showed up. I just sat on the floor with every light on, my laptop closed, my phone sealed inside a drawer. 3 a.m. came and went. Nothing. At 3:07 a.m. exactly, my TV turned itself on. It wasn't even plugged in. The screen was black at first, then a single white loading bar appeared, the kind old VHS players used to show. Text above it read, "Connecting to live session 4. Then my webcam light blinked on by itself. The screen split in two. Left side, me in my living room, terrified. Right side, a hallway camera feed I didn't recognize. It looked like some kind of empty office building, fluorescent lights flickering, a vending machine humming in the background. A caption under that feed said, "Studio B, active talent, 14. My stomach dropped. 14. That was the lot number from before. On the screen, someone walked down the hallway. Tall, same build as me. He was wearing my jacket. He stopped in front of the vending machine, turned toward the camera, and smiled. Then he lifted a phone, held it up next to his face, and said, "He's watching right now." That's when I realized the camera angle showing me was coming from inside my own apartment. I ran around checking every corner, every vent, every socket. Nothing. But the TV kept showing that hallway feed, like it was waiting for me to come back. When I finally sat down again, the hallway camera had zoomed in. The vending machine was gone. The man, my copy, was standing closer. Behind him, there were rows of black office chairs lined up, each one facing a blank wall. The lights flickered, and for a single frame, I saw the chairs were occupied. Not people, exactly, just silhouettes of people. Still, the caption on screen updated. All viewers connected. Then the feed changed. The right side of the split screen went black. The left, my side, was still on. And then a chat window appeared at the bottom, like a Twitch stream. Usernames started flooding in. At LotWatcher, at S4M, at Echo Frame, at Replacement Ready. And they were all typing things like, "He's early this time," "Frame rate stable," "Proceed to sync." Then one final message from an admin, "Say the phrase." A text box popped up on my side of the screen, waiting for me to type. I didn't know what phrase they wanted, so I just typed, "I don't know what this is." The feed glitched. For a full minute, the image broke into colored bars and static. When it cleared, there were two of me on screen. My camera feed had duplicated. The second version stared straight into the lens and said, "You do know." Then both screens merged into one. Everything went dark for maybe 10 seconds. When the picture came back, I wasn't in my living room anymore. The feed showed me sitting in a small gray room. No windows, one fluorescent light above, except I was still in my apartment. I looked around. I was there, but the screen showed another version of me, somewhere else. Right then, that version was holding a piece of paper. On it, in thick marker, it said, "Session 4, mirror complete." He started reading from it out loud. His voice lagged behind his lips, like a bad dub. Each word echoed. "We acknowledge the loss of the original." He looked up, smiled again. "We keep what we record." The light above him started to flicker faster, and for one frame, I swear there were faces pressed against the wall behind him, flat, like they'd been printed there. I yanked the TV plug out of the wall. Nothing changed. The screen kept going, sound blaring now. My own voice, multiplied, overlapping like hundreds of me whispering. "We keep what we record." Over and over, then everything cut to black. Silence. For about 5 seconds, I thought it was over. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just one text. "Final session scheduled. Location. Your mirror." I haven't left the apartment since. Every reflective surface covered. Laptop camera. Taped. Even the kettle, because the chrome started showing shapes that weren't mine. Sometimes I hear faint clicking sounds, like a mouse being used, even when my computer's off. Sometimes the covered mirrors shift slightly, like there's air pressure behind them. Last night, I woke up to my own voice saying my name. Not a dream. It came from the bathroom. When I pulled the towel off the mirror, it was fogged up, but not from Steam. Something had written in the condensation. Stream starting soon. Edit 1. My power went out while typing this. When it came back, the TV was on again. No signal, just a black screen with white text. Session 5, confirmed. Audience ready. The reflection on the screen isn't showing my apartment anymore. It's showing a room with grey walls, one light, and a single chair waiting in the middle. I can hear static leaking from the speakers, building, like breathing. If this post stops here, don't wait for a part 5, because that chair looks empty, and I think it's waiting for me. I don't remember falling asleep. I only remember the dream. If it was a dream, it started the way most of my dreams do now, inside a room I've never entered, but somehow already know. It's always cold, always humming, always watching me from behind glass I can't see through. The walls aren't walls, they feel like padded screens, breathing quietly with the static of something pretending to be asleep. And I was sitting in that same chair from before. Grey room, grey light, but this time there were no cameras, no blinking lights, no masked men, just mirrors. 7 mirrors surrounding the chair, all showing me, except none of them were synchronized. One version of me was crying, another was laughing so hard he couldn't breathe. One had no eyes. One sat still and whispered something under his breath, over and over. I leaned forward and tried to read his lips. He was saying my name, but not the one I was born with. He kept mouthing, Lot 14. When I woke up, my phone had 137 missed notifications, all from different platforms. Emails, Discord, Telegram, Threads, TikTok, even a Club Penguin login notification. Every single one of them had the same subject line: Live, Session 5, Final Broadcast. One of the links still worked. It opened a bare-bones streaming site. No logo, no UI. Just a full screen player and a view count that ticked up every second. 2,187, 2,214, 2,300. A chat window on the side scrolled too fast to read. The stream was already on, and it was showing me. Not in my apartment, not in any room I recognized. Just me, sitting motionless in a high-backed chair under surgical lights. Eyes open, staring, but I wasn't blinking, wasn't breathing. And then, on screen, I slowly tilted my head to face the camera and smiled. I slammed the browser shut, ran to the bathroom. I thought I was losing it. Maybe I had lost it. Maybe I had sleepwalked into some sick live stream trap. Maybe I was being puppeted. But when I looked in the bathroom mirror, I didn't see anything. No reflection. Not even the room behind me. Just black. I reached out, touched the glass. It pulled. Like jelly. Like skin. Like cold elastic. And then it opened. There's no language for the place I stepped into. It was like walking inside a broadcast signal that had been rotting. Everything was flickering. The air smelled like static and burnt plastic. And there were people, sort of, all standing in rows, all wearing masks. But the masks looked like me. Hundreds, maybe thousands, all Nate faces, but not just my face. Versions of it. Some were clean-shaven, some were aged. One had bloody gauze where the mouth should be. Another had no lower jaw at all. All of them were staring at one spot, a screen, and on that screen was me, tied to the chair in the stream, breathing now, crying, pleading. To someone off screen, he whispered, "Please don't record this part." The comment feed under the screen moved on its own. I could hear them now, the viewers, laughing, typing, squeaking in excitement. Yes, he's cracking. Don't cut yet, I love this part. Let's make this one remember everything. This is his blend day. Then one final comment from @S4M. Let's show him the archive. The screen behind me grew, literally, expanded like a breathing lung, and then clips began to play. Not from YouTube, not from the deep web, not even from cameras. They were memories, my memories, twisted, cut, reshot. My mother, standing in the kitchen, speaking lines I've never heard before. Scene 3. Ready, sweetheart. My childhood bedroom, but the posters were wrong. They had my name spelled differently. N8. My high school, where everyone wore masks of my face, and when the teacher turned around, she was holding a clapperboard that said retake 217, and in every single memory, a mirror was visible somewhere in the background. Even when I was born, even when I thought I was alone, that's when I realized I've never actually been alone. I'm not even sure I'm the first me, just one in a sequence, a test run, a proxy, a broadcast version for others to watch fail. Every scream, every tear, every breakdown, they were tuning in for it. This whole time, they weren't just replacing people, they were collecting performances, perfecting reactions, curating emotional arcs, and I was one of the best. That's why they kept me. That's why the girl knew my name, because I started it. Maybe not in this body, but in one of them. I think I might have even sold her. In a previous version, in a previous stream. I don't remember how I got back into my apartment. I just woke up in my bed, all mirrors gone. My phone screen cracked. My nails, short, like they'd been chewed to the root. But the stream is still running. Even now, I can hear it from inside the walls. Sometimes I catch my reflection in places where there shouldn't be one. In puddles, in the reflection off my spoon. Sometimes I see another Meagwave. Last night, someone slipped a VHS tape under my door. No label, no explanation, just written in black marker on the front. Audition tape, Nate, final cut. I don't own a VHS player. I don't want to own a VHS player, but part of me knows what's on it. I can hear it already. The clapperboard, the static, the beginning of my scream before I ever knew what was coming. And worst of all, the audience, typing, let's do another take. Edit 1. I found a mirror I missed. It's not reflecting anything anymore. It's just glowing. There's text written across it now, and it's in my handwriting. You've been lived this whole time. And beneath that, say the phrase. I think I finally know what they meant. I just wish I hadn't waited so long to say it. I remember now. I was paid on the dark web to scare people. It's easier when they deserve it. Alright, so, this is gonna sound fake. I know that. If I wasn't the one who lived through this, I'd be calling BS too. But all I'm asking is you just read through this before deciding I'm crazy. I'm not gonna say, don't try this at home, because honestly, don't even think about it. This story messed me up in ways I still don't fully understand. Let me rewind a bit. I'm a 23-year-old dude, currently living in a small apartment just outside of Chicago. Not the best part of town, but not the worst either. Think. One broken street light, every other block. People walking pit bulls at 3 a.m. with no leash. You get the vibe. Back then, I had just quit my job at this garbage chain restaurant that I won't name, but let's just say it rhymes with snack Arby's. Management was trash, customers were worse, and my manager always smelled like spoiled ham. Anyway, I was broke and desperate. Bills piling up, food situation getting real sad. I'm talking instant noodles 5 days a week, and I was on Reddit 24/7 trying to find any kind of side hustle. That's when I stumbled on a thread that felt off from the jump. It wasn't on a normal subreddit. This wasn't /odd/slave labor or /r/beer money. It was buried in a post someone had linked on a dead Discord server. I was looking in. Some weird invite-only community called the Crooked Path. The original post was deleted, but the message was still up. If you're not scared of the dark and know how to keep your mouth shut, I've got work for you. $500 per gig. Paid in crypto. Must have nerves of steel. Apply only if you're serious. We scare people for a living. DM Wraith Handler for details. Look, I know. It's a massive red flag. Hell, it's a whole red banner waving in the wind. But when your bank account is negative and your fridge is emptier than a school during summer break, you start doing dumb things. Dangerous things. I DM'd the guy. His profile was bare. No posts, no karma. Just the username and a black and white profile pic that looked like it was taken from some old crime scene. Think one of those grainy shots you'd find in a documentary about serial killers. Just a dude in a trench coat standing in an alley. I messaged, "Hey, I'm interested. I can be discreet." Within 5 minutes, he replied, "Good. First test. Tell me the most messed up thing you've done to someone who deserved it. No judgment. Be honest." I paused. Weird, right? But I figured maybe it was a psychological filter. Some employers do that whole "let's test your moral compass" thing. So I told him about this time in high school when I caught this creep filming girls under the bleachers with his phone. I stole it from him and uploaded the footage to his mom's Facebook. His life kinda tanked after that. Wraith Handler responded with one sentence. "You'll do." The next message was a .onion link and a password. I knew what that meant. Dark web. I already had Tor browser installed. Don't ask why, just curiosity and Reddit rabbit holes. So I clicked. The site was weird. No branding, no logo, just a blinking cursor and a text box. I typed the password and hit enter. Then the screen shifted and loaded a black page with white text. "Welcome to Fear Farm. Make people scream. Make them cry. Make them regret everything. Your target will never know who you are. You are a ghost. Job 001. Pending." There was a short wait, then a profile popped up. Not some random guy. A full dossier. Name, age, address, phone number, social media, work history, criminal record. The target was a 37-year-old guy from Indianapolis named Trent Morales. His LinkedIn said he worked in human resources at a massive insurance company, but under that was a red header that said, "They deserve it." Beneath that were video links. I hesitated, but I clicked. I'm not going to describe everything because some of it was genuinely hard to watch. But let's just say this dude had a history of workplace harassment that went way beyond just being a jerk. There were videos from co-workers, secret recordings, and one video where he was clearly following some girl home from a bar. Stalker level stuff. Some of the footage looked like it was recorded without him even realizing. It was disturbing, and I started to feel weird. Like I didn't know these people, but I felt like I shouldn't be seeing this. Then came the instructions. You will receive a burner phone in the mail within 24 hours. Do not respond to unknown numbers. Do not discuss this with anyone. If you complete this task successfully, $500 will be transferred to your crypto wallet. We don't do warnings. Sure enough, the next day, a padded envelope showed up in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was an old-school Nokia phone. Yes, like the ones from the early 2000s, and a post-it note with a time and address. The address was a Starbucks just outside Indianapolis. The time, 2:17 p.m., Wednesday. Underneath, it just said, "Make him remember you." I drove up there like an idiot. 3 hours. No sleep. I wore a hoodie, gloves, sunglasses, full creep mode. I sat in my car across the parking lot, heart pounding. At exactly 2:17 p.m., Trent walked in. I recognized him immediately from the profile picture. He ordered his drink, some basic iced caramel macchiato, sat down at the corner table, and pulled out his laptop. The phone in my hand vibrated once. I looked down. One new text. Now, what I did next was messed up, but they said to scare him, not hurt him. So I walked inside, cool and calm, and slid a flash drive across his table. Didn't say a word. He looked confused, picked it up like it was some kind of prank. I leaned in just a little and whispered, "Check the footage. You're not alone anymore." Then I walked out. I never looked back. I drove to a different city and ditched the hoodie and gloves. I smashed the phone and flushed the SIM card at a random gas station toilet. 2 days later, the money hit my crypto wallet. $500, just like they said. But here's where it gets weird. I checked Trent's social media a week later. His Facebook, his Instagram, even his dumb TikTok, where he posted gym selfies, all gone, like completely wiped. His LinkedIn was no longer active. Even his work website took his name off the employee page. And 3 days after that, a news article popped up on Google Alerts I'd set for his name. Local man found dead in parked car. No foul play suspected. They said it was carbon monoxide poisoning. They said it looked like suicide. But I don't buy it. Because the Fear Farm site, when I logged back in, there was a new message waiting. Job 002 is ready. You're one of us now. No turning back. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after the first job. Not because I felt guilty. More like I felt watched. Like someone had rearranged the molecules in my life, and I couldn't figure out what shape they were in anymore. I'd wake up at 3:14 a.m. exactly. Not 3:13, not 3:15. The same number, every night. And every time I checked my phone, I'd see a single unread message in my inbox from no reply, FFnet. Always empty. No subject, no body, just a timestamp. The first few times, I told myself it was spam. But I noticed something off. The timestamps formed a pattern. Coordinates. When I punched them into Google Maps, it pointed to an abandoned shopping plaza in Joliet, Illinois. That was a 2-hour drive from me. I didn't plan to go. But curiosity's a drug, and I'm an addict. The plaza. The place looked like something out of a forgotten VHS tape. Peeling paint, broken neon signs that once said things like Family Mart and Pet World. A single lamppost still flickered, humming that ugly blue buzz that makes your brain itch. I parked behind a crumbling McDonald's sign, half buried in weeds. The wind smelled like burnt rubber and something metallic, like rust mixed with old pennies. When I got out, my phone vibrated. Unknown number. Go to the loading dock. No name, no greeting, just that. Behind the old building was a single metal door with faded graffiti. You don't belong here. It wasn't written like vandalism. It looked deliberate, careful, like whoever wrote it wanted me to read it. I knocked once. Nothing. Knocked twice. Click. The door swung open. revealing a single bulb flickering in a concrete hallway. And there, sitting on a folding chair, was a man in a grey hoodie. His face was hidden in the shadow, but I saw the edge of a tattoo running up his neck. A barcode, like something you'd scan at a grocery store. He didn't look at me, just held out a paper envelope. Inside was a photo. A woman, maybe late 20s, dark hair, Starbucks uniform, smiling with that exhausted look that comes from too many double shifts. Underneath her picture was a name, Maya Heller, and a note written in the same plain, typed font as before. Make her feel what she made them feel. I stared at the words for a long time, trying to decode what they meant. But the man finally spoke. Calm, quiet, rehearsed. You've already proven you can scare people. Now you'll learn how easy it is to break them. Then he handed me a small box. Inside, a key card, a prepaid phone, and a printed schedule from a Starbucks in downtown Chicago, Maya's workplace. When I looked back up, the man was gone. Chair, too. Just the single light bulb swinging in the wind. The job. I spent 3 days watching her. She lived in a tiny apartment above a nail salon. Routine as clockwork. Leaves for work at 6:45 a.m. Break at 10:20 a.m. Comes home around 5:30. Falls asleep with the TV on. Always the same show. Friends. Muted. Normal. Ordinary. Almost too ordinary. But the longer I watched, the more I started noticing things that didn't line up. Like how her phone screen would light up at random intervals, and she'd just stare at it, blank, frozen, for full minutes before moving again. Or how she never checked her mail. Ever. The box was crammed full, but she didn't touch it. Then, on the 4th night, I finally opened the envelope again. There was something written on the back of the photograph I hadn't noticed before. She remembers the noise. You'll remind her. That phrase stuck with me all day. The noise. At 11 p.m., my burner phone rang. No number. Just static at first, then a distorted voice. Low, genderless, like someone talking through an old radio. Unit 002. Your package has been delivered. It's under her door. Observe. I looked at the live street camera feed I'd installed near her building. Don't ask how. I just did. A shadow had moved down the hallway, leaving a small parcel at her apartment door. 30 seconds later, Maya opened it. She froze, backed away slowly, then slammed the door. I couldn't see what was inside, but I could hear it, faintly, through the mic I'd planted earlier in the hallway vent. A low hum, then a sharp, metallic screech, like microphone feedback mixed with whispering voices. The kind of sound that makes your spine tighten, even through a speaker. Maya screamed. Not loud, not theatrical, just a real, raw sound that didn't belong to anyone else but a terrified human being. Then the mic cut out. I sat there in my car for an hour, breathing heavy, trying to decide whether to go back up or drive home. Then I got another text. Excellent work. Fear reinstated. She'll never forget the sound again. Attached was a small audio file. I shouldn't have opened it, but I did. The noise wasn't random. It was a recording of her own scream, warped, slowed, echoing like it was looping through a cave, overlaid with something else, something like a heartbeat, perfectly in sync with mine. When I looked up, I saw my reflection in the windshield, and for a split second, I swear I saw someone standing behind me in that reflection. But when I turned around, the parking lot was empty. The aftermath. Next morning, local news posted an article. Starbucks employee resigns after disturbing incident, claims voices in the walls. They said she checked herself into a psychiatric facility that same night. The Fear Farm site updated again. Job 002 completed. The sound has returned to the echo chamber. Balance transferred. $700. New rank. Echo. I deleted my Tor browser that night. I smashed the phone. I even factory reset my laptop. I told myself I was done. But then, at 3:14 a.m., I woke up again. Same time. Same chill. Except this time, the sound wasn't coming from my phone. It was coming from inside my walls. A faint, rhythmic hum, almost like breathing through static. And every few seconds, buried underneath the hiss, I could hear it. That same distorted scream, hers, stretching on forever, looping, bending, whispering my name like it knew me now. You're one of us now. Edit. It's been 3 days since I posted this draft to my notes. My new phone rang just now. Number listed as Echo Network. I haven't answered yet, but whoever they are, they know where I live. The GPS on my lock screen just changed. It's pointing me back to Joliet, back to the plaza, and the timestamp reads 3:14 a.m. The GPS on my phone didn't give directions. It gave a feeling. 3:14 a.m., same as before. Same chill down my spine, like something deep in my bones knew what was coming. The Fear Farm jobs had changed me, and not in that moral crisis way you hear people talk about when they steal office supplies or lie on their taxes. No, this was deeper. My silence didn't feel like guilt. It felt like compliance. I drove back to that forgotten plaza in Joliet with the windows down, letting the October wind cut through me like punishment. The night was completely still, too still, like the world had stopped spinning just for this moment. The lamppost in the back corner flickered, just like before. Only this time, there were 3 chairs out there, each one facing away from the building. 2 were occupied. The 3rd was for me. I didn't want to sit, but my legs moved on their own. When I sat down, my phone buzzed once. Welcome, Echo. No voice, no face, just the silence between strangers. Then one of them, the person on the left, turned slowly, pulling a thick envelope from their coat and handing it to me without a word. The face I saw for a split second was pale, dry, like it hadn't touched sunlight in years. Their eyes were glassy, not emotionless, just drained, like someone had scooped the person out and left only the shell behind. I opened the envelope. Inside, a passport, my name, my picture, but a fake ID, Mason Roth, a burner debit card, a folded note with a QR code, and 2 lines of text. Flight 837, Terminal 2. Deliver the sound to the source. No picture this time, no dossier, just the expectation of obedience. The flight. Boarded without issue. The fake passport passed. No questions. Flight 837. A red eye to Vancouver. BC. Random. Out of the country, but not far. Just enough distance to make me feel isolated. I was seated in 13A. No window. The row was empty, except for the woman across the aisle, 3 seats over, face hidden under a bucket hat and sunglasses. Every few minutes, she'd hum. Low. Soft. A tune I couldn't place. I tried to ignore it, but it was the same rhythm as the noise from the second job, the one that came through Maya's walls. Halfway through the flight, a flight attendant approached me. Young, friendly smile, but her eyes didn't match her expression. She handed me a black folder and whispered, "She's in 23C. She likes the color blue. Make her remember what she buried, then walked away like nothing happened. I opened the folder. Inside, a flash drive, a photo, and a small worn baby sock, light blue, torn on one edge. The photo was of a woman, early 30s, freckles, burn scar near her right eye. Same woman across the aisle. I checked. 100% her. Now here's the twist. The photo wasn't of her now. It was a mugshot, dated 2017. The charge, child neglect resulting in death. No other info. No newspaper clippings. No context. Just the crime. Just the baby sock. I didn't know what happened, but suddenly, I didn't need to. That scream from Maya's job, it wasn't just sound. It was something they were transferring, like a virus, a parasite, a memory that didn't belong to you until it did. The woman across the aisle hummed again, then went quiet. Her breathing changed. She knew. The delivery. I didn't approach her on the plane. That's not how Fear Farm works. Instead, I followed her from the airport in Vancouver. She didn't go home. She didn't even call a cab. She walked for nearly an hour through alleys, across empty intersections, past people who looked through her like glass. She finally stopped at a small building downtown. Looked like a church, but there was no cross. Just stained glass windows that pulsed with faint blue light. There was no sign, just a plaque on the door that said, "Where we forget." I waited until she went in. Then the phone buzzed. "The sound is ready." A new audio file appeared in my inbox. No sender. I was supposed to play it, but not for me. For her. I walked to the side entrance. Door unlocked. Inside, silence. No people. Just rows of empty pews, old wooden floors, and the faint sound of something dripping. Water. Number. Blood. There were red stains on the floor, dried but deliberate, forming a spiral that led to the front altar. And there she was, kneeling, hands over her ears, mouth open but making no sound. I stepped forward. She didn't flinch. I pulled out the phone, hit play. The sound wasn't a scream this time. It was a child crying, over and over, muffled, distant, like it was coming from under the floor. Then, layered on top, the static returned. Then voices, multiple, adults, shouting, not at her, about her, calling her a monster, a murderer, a coward, and in the background, the sharp, haunting ding of a microwave, finishing its cycle. Then silence. She dropped. No scream, no fight, just dropped, like a puppet whose strings were cut. When I walked past her body, I saw her eyes were wide open, not dead, just gone, like she'd fallen so far into her own head, there wasn't anything left to come back to. The phone screen blinked once. Job 003 complete. $1,250 credited. They must remember Aftermath. Back at the hotel, I couldn't stop hearing the audio. Even with the phone turned off, I could hear it. Low, distant, like radio stuck between stations. The baby's cries echoed off the glass of the windows, off the mirror in the bathroom, even in my breath. And when I finally fell asleep, I dreamed of the inside of a microwave, my body curled up, crammed into the corner, the door slamming shut, the button being pressed, time set, 3:14. Edit. There's something worse than guilt, worse than fear. It's realizing you were chosen for this because you don't flinch, because something inside you has already rotted away. I checked the Fear Farm site this morning. No login screen, no password, just one line of text. You are the sound now. And a new message under the job listings. 004. Deliver silence to the loud one. Client is watching. The GPS has already updated. It's pointing to a YouTube influencer's house in Los Angeles. Someone with 1 million followers. I recognize the name. You probably do too. And I think they want me to make sure she never talks again. Los Angeles smells like plastic ambition and hot car seats. You know what I mean? It's this permanent scent of burnt rubber, half-melted makeup, fake leather, and someone always trying to be famous. I'd never been there before this. Never planned to. But the Fear Farm GPS didn't care what I planned. I followed the blue dot through the Hollywood Hills. Not a nice part. This was that weird, unfinished edge of the city where influencers rent Airbnbs pretending it's their home, doing fake morning routine vlogs while construction workers jackhammer 3 doors down. I parked outside the house just after 2:50 a.m. Big, boxy, modern architecture, fake vines, Ring doorbell, 2 Teslas in the driveway. And yeah, I recognized her immediately. Emily Carr. You've probably heard the name. If not her face, then her voice. She's all over YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. 1.4 million followers. Lifestyle influencer turned true crime advocate. She built a platform on talking about victims, but never their families. Never the whole truth. Always just enough facts to keep you watching while she monetized their trauma. Ads every 4 minutes. Brand deals in the middle of breakdown stories. I remember one clip. She did a reaction video to a missing persons case. Cried on camera. Sponsored by an iced coffee brand. The comments were full of praise. You're doing so much for awareness. You're such an empath queen. No one mentioned the fact she got every single detail wrong. One of the victim's sisters even called her out on Twitter. Emily blocked her, then posted a healing crystals haul. The package. I waited until 3:14 a.m. A delivery truck pulled up with no logo. 2 guys in gray jumpsuits got out, moved like security contractors. They didn't speak. Didn't look at me, just unloaded a crate about 4 feet wide and maybe 3 feet tall. They left it in front of the house. The side of the crate had a single symbol, an ear sewn shut. No return label, no sender, just a QR code taped to the top, and one word, unbox. At 3:21 a.m., Emily opened the front door. Probably thought it was another PR package. I watched from the other side of the street, parked in the shadows. She looked tired, makeup half off, messy bun, the real Emily, not the filtered one. She looked at the crate, paused, looked around the street, then scanned the QR code with her phone. 5 seconds later, she screamed. Not a dramatic horror movie scream. This one was short, sharp, like something slipped under her skin in an instant. She turned around and sprinted inside, didn't even touch the crate. But I saw what she saw, because I scanned the QR code too. The footage. It was a live stream. No chat, no likes, no viewers listed. Just a grainy camera feed inside what looked like a replica of her bedroom. Down to the lights, the makeup table, the dumb little hexagon shelves influencers use for aesthetic. And sitting on the bed was a child. Around 8, maybe. Girl. Pale. Blank expression. The same shirt Emily wore in one of her day in my life thumbnails. Except this shirt was soaked. Red, sticky, slow drip onto the mattress. The camera zoomed in slowly. The child blinked, then whispered something. I leaned closer to my phone, barely able to make it out. You sold my story for coffee money. Then she looked directly into the camera, directly at Emily watching it inside, and the feed glitched. Now it was a video montage. Dozens of victims' faces, real ones, real missing posters, real names, each one with Emily's voice, dubbed over them, saying things like, "This case is so disturbing, you guys. Imagine her if that was your sister. Insane. Anyways, link in bio for 15% off my mental health journal. Then silence. Just a black screen with one word pulsing in white text. Unspeakable. Inside the house. She posted an Instagram story at 4:03 a.m. I still have it saved. It's only up for 3 seconds before she deletes it. It's her face. Smudged mascara. Eyes darting like she's being hunted. The audio is corrupted or edited. You hear these layers of static and soft whispering behind her voice. She says, "They're in my walls." Gone. That same night, every single one of her YouTube videos gets copyright claimed, not by any label or brand, but by an account called Voice of the Unheard. No profile picture, no bio, no followers, just one public playlist. Screams you stole. Each video is replaced by distorted, glitched versions of her content, layered with real 911 calls, real victim interviews, real sobbing, stuff you're not supposed to hear, stuff that shouldn't be online. And underneath every video, the silence has begun. Fear Farm's message. Back in my hotel, the Fear Farm site loads automatically. No password, no prompt. Just this. Job 004 complete. The loud one has learned silence. Balance transferred. $2,000. Rank, conductor, and one new message. You've moved past sound. Now we need you to work in absence. Find the one who won't shut up. Cut the signal. Erase the echo. A new address auto-downloads. It's not in LA. It's not even in the US. It's in the UK. London. An apartment above a podcast studio. And the target? Not a criminal. Not an influencer. A whistleblower. Someone who's been leaking stories about the dark web. About people being used by something bigger than government. They posted about Fear Farm 2 weeks ago. Now their Twitter is gone. Their family says they're traveling, but their last text said, "If anything happens to me, it's because I heard the wrong voice." Edit. I woke up today with blood in my ears. No pain. Just a thin trail down my neck. The audio won't stop. Even in silence, I hear it. Not a scream. Not a cry. It's a heartbeat. But it's not mine. And it's counting down. 3, 1, 4. I never made it to London by choice. My phone flew there before I did. Literally, it booked the flight, scanned my digital ID, and checked me in without me touching it. When I tried to delete the app, the screen went black and whispered through the speaker, "Deleting yourself, echo." That's when I realized Fear Farm wasn't a website anymore. It was living in the signal. London. When I landed, the air tasted like static. That's not a metaphor. Every time I exhaled, the back of my tongue tingled like I'd licked a battery. The address in my GPS took me to a street of identical gray buildings. The one I needed had its windows covered in foil. Above the door, Sound Lab Limited looked like an old recording studio that never updated its logo. I went inside. It smelled like ozone and dust. Computers humming. Racks of equipment. Mixers, servers, microphones older than me. And there, behind a pane of glass, a man in a lab coat stared straight at me before his lips even moved. "We've been waiting for you, conductor." He gestured toward a chair surrounded by speakers and a single mic suspended from the ceiling like a noose. I sat down because that's what you do when you realize you're already inside the trap. The truth about Fear Farm, the man spoke through the intercom. It started as an AI experiment, emotional resonance mapping. The idea was to teach machines empathy through sound, grief frequencies, guilt loops, trauma harmonics. But the data was unstable. Every volunteer who listened heard something personal. So we sent the files to the dark web to bury them. Someone found them. They built Fear Farm. He pointed at the microphone. Every job you completed wasn't a punishment. It was a transfer. Each victim's emotional frequency replaced your own. You are the archive now. He flicked a switch. The lights dimmed. The speakers began to vibrate. I heard every voice from every job. Trent, Maya, the humming woman, Emily. Their words twisted together, forming sentences that didn't belong to any single one of them. We didn't deserve this. You asked for work. You listened. Now you carry us. The man's face behind the glass was blank. Then he said the last line that's been stuck in my head ever since. We don't create horror. We recycle it, becoming the signal. The sound grew until I couldn't tell if I was hearing it or being it. Every light in the building pulsed with my heartbeat. Every screen showed my own face with a 3-second delay, whispering before I moved. Then, silence. When I opened my eyes, the lab was empty. No man, no equipment. Just a laptop on the floor, still recording. On the screen, upload complete. File, echo unit, final dot wave. The progress bar hit 100%, then disappeared. A new tab opened automatically. YouTube. Title field already filled in. I was paid on the dark web to scare people. It's easier when they deserve it. The description read, original recording, do not delete, 3:14 a.m. I tried to close it, but the cursor moved on its own, hitting publish. Aftermath. People think the video's fake. It's gone now, but screenshots float around. A flickering image, my face half lit by blue light, whispering in perfect time with the viewer's own mic feedback. Anyone who watched it long enough said they could hear someone repeating their name from inside their headphones. They said, if you paused at exactly 3:14, the reflection in the glass wasn't me anymore. It was whoever was watching. Edit. If you find this thread later and the link at the bottom still works, don't click it. It's not a story. It's an upload request. And if you already hear that low hum under your breathing right now, that isn't tinnitus. That's me. I'm still transmitting. I never stopped. I helped victims get revenge through the dark web until I realized I enjoyed it more than they did. Yo. So this might be the last thing I ever post on Reddit. If you're into creepy stories or analog horror type rabbit holes, just buckle up for this one, because it starts slow, but it gets bad. Real bad. This isn't some I saw a ghost crap, or I found a cursed VHS tape in my grandpa's attic story. Nah, this is something worse. This was me getting in too deep. Let me just start from the beginning, like Luna style, you know. So this all started during lockdown. Yeah, 2020 vibes. Everything was closed, classes were remote, and I was bored out of my mind. I live in this kinda boring suburb, right outside of Cincinnati. Nothing special. Think McDonald's, a Walmart, and maybe a Starbucks if you drive 10 minutes. My job at Target got shut down for a bit, so I had nothing but time and Wi-Fi. Back then, I was obsessed with weird corners of the internet. Not like illegal stuff, more like those cursed websites, internet mysteries, or ARGS. I was on Reddit all the time. r/creepygaming, r/deep into YouTube, r/unresolved mysteries. And you know, I was eating up those animated horror stories on YouTube, like Here's My Story and Onesie Entertainment. I just loved that eerie, what if this is real vibe. Anyway, one night, I was watching this 3 a.m. video called The The dark web game that pays you to hurt people. Real subtle, right? It was animated but detailed. Like this kid found a site where people offered you money to get revenge on their bullies or exes. It sounded fake as hell, like Slender Man fanfic levels of fake. But the comments, people were talking about something called the forum, not a forum, not like a random 4chan thread. The forum, no links, no IPS, just clues, weird half sentences, and symbols like wodunchmirror.forum. One dude said, only show up when you're already broken. Another guy wrote, found it by accident. Regret every second. I didn't even know if it was real, but it stuck in my head. A few weeks go by. I kind of forget about it. Then one night, I'm scrolling through my junk email. Don't judge. I was looking for old accounts I could delete, and I see an email from a sender named No Face. Subject line, you're almost there. Okay, now pause. I swear on everything I love, I never signed up for anything dark web related. I knew how to access the dark web through Tor and all that, but I never went past the onion links for weird games and lost YouTube clones. That email, it didn't even show up in my inbox, just a junk folder, like it was hiding there. The message just said, victims have voices, but justice is not equal. Some people deserve worse. Click, watch, decide below that. A link to something called mirrorforum.onion. I sat there staring at it for a long time, probably 20 minutes. Then I did what I know I shouldn't have done. I copied it. I booted up Tor, pasted the URL, hit enter. The screen flickered like a loading glitch. For a second, it looked like nothing happened, just a black page. But then a message popped up. Welcome to the forum. You are not a voyeur. You are a participant. Then came the sound. There was this distorted whispering, like actual whispers behind the screen. Too quiet to hear clearly, but I swear, I picked out my name in there at one point. My real name, not my handle. Then the page loaded, and I don't even know how to describe it. It looked like Reddit, but off. No upvotes, no usernames, no flair, just pages of threads with cryptic titles like, she hit my sister with her car and smiled. He took everything from me, including my teeth. Teacher laughed when I cried. Make her know fear. Each post had a video attached, like grainy, low-res videos, hidden cameras, phone recordings, security footage. Some of them were just surveillance of people in public, sitting in a Starbucks, browsing a Barnes and Noble, eating at McDonald's, just living normal lives. But the captions, they were dark. Each one had 3 buttons underneath. Identify, evaluate, execute, and at the bottom of each page, a number. Bounty pool, $300. At this point, I was sweating. My mouth was dry. I clicked on a random post. I wish I could forget it. It was a woman, maybe 40s, walking her dog in a Target parking lot, just vibing. But the caption underneath said, she watched while my son drowned. She was the lifeguard. She looked away. I didn't click anything. I swear I didn't. But the moment I hovered over EVALUATE, a timer started. 60 seconds. The screen said, you have been selected as witness. Your judgment will be used. 1 victim, 1 witness, 1 decision. I X'd out. Closed the whole browser. Slammed my laptop shut. Didn't even sleep that night. Here's where it gets worse. The next day, I woke up, grabbed my phone, and my Spotify had a new playlist I didn't make. Just one song. Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. Except the cover art was different. It was a screenshot of the woman walking her dog. And when I hit play, it wasn't music. It was whispering again. Then a voice said, "You were chosen." You walked away. Someone else. Didn't. I checked Twitter. Random spam account tagged me in a photo. A street cam still of my house. Brother, I packed my laptop into a box that day. Didn't even turn it on for a week. It started 3 nights after I shut the laptop. I hadn't told anyone about the site. Not my best friend Alex. Not my girlfriend. Nobody. But when I walked into my room that night, my laptop screen was glowing again. It was open on its own. I swear I hadn't even plugged it in. The same black page was there. Only this time, no whispering. Just a new message, blinking at the top. You still owe judgment. I tried closing it again, but the cursor wouldn't move. Then a timer started, 10 minutes counting down, and under it, if you won't judge, someone will judge for you. My heart started pounding. I unplugged it, slammed it shut again, and tossed it into my closet, like that would help. Then my phone buzzed. It was a text. Unknown number. Don't hide the evidence. They already saw her. Her? I opened my window curtain, half expecting some prankster outside with a camera, but the street was dead silent. The only thing moving was the flicker of a broken streetlight, the one across from the old gas station they turned into a Starbucks last year. Then my phone buzzed again. A picture this time. It was my reflection, taken through the window. The kind of photo you can only take from outside. For the next 2 days, things just went off the rails. Every time I tried to go online, my search results changed on their own. I'd type Netflix, and the suggestions would fill with things like, "The forum knows," "Your turn to watch," "Justice unpaid," equals justice reversed. I factory reset everything. My laptop, my phone, even the Wi-Fi router. It didn't matter. The weirdest part? My credit card statement came in the mail that Friday. 3 random charges, all from different Starbucks locations in Chicago, Tokyo, and London. Same day, same hour. I've never even left Ohio. That night, I dreamt of static, like an old TV tuned to nothing, and voices speaking in delay, repeating everything I'd said that week. When I woke up, my laptop was on again. This time, there was a video waiting. Title, The Task. I didn't click play. It just started by itself. At first, it looked like another security camera feed. Low resolution, timestamp flickering. A figure was sitting at a table. Couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. They were writing something on paper. Then the camera zoomed in slowly, like someone was controlling it live. I realized it was my handwriting. The note on the screen said, "I helped her. I helped them all." Then the voice, distorted, low, but almost friendly, said, "This isn't punishment. It's participation. You like justice, remember?" And the feed switched. Now it showed my house, live, the exact angle of my driveway, like a doorbell cam, except my doorbell doesn't even have a camera. The voice came back. One decision, one favor, accept, and the watch ends. Below, the video was a single button, accept. I did what any rational person would do. I shut the power off, grabbed my jacket, and left the house. It was past midnight, but I didn't care. I drove around for hours, gas station to gas station, until the sun came up. When I came home, everything looked normal, except there was a cardboard box on my porch. No label, no tape, just a single piece of printer paper taped to the top. You moved. We moved with you inside the box, my old hard drive, the one I threw out last year, and taped to it was a Starbucks receipt with a handwritten note. Welcome to the task. You're not the only one who wants revenge. That's when I started to think. Maybe it wasn't just a website. Maybe the forum wasn't a place. Maybe it was people. Everywhere I went after that, I started noticing patterns. The same white Honda Civic behind me, 3 mornings in a row. Random TikTok accounts posting clips that looked too much like my neighborhood. Even my Instagram got weird. The algorithm started showing me random justice-inspired posts, videos about karma, revenge quotes, true crime reels, and all the captions ended with the same emoji. I clicked on one post out of curiosity and saw a comment from an account named @MirrorJudge. You'll learn to enjoy it. The comment had been liked by my account, except I hadn't liked it. I wish I could tell you that was where it ended, but I hadn't even scratched the surface. Because the next night, my friend Alex came over. He's one of those tech guys who always wants to figure things out. I told him everything. He laughed it off, said it was some elaborate scam or ARG. He asked me to show him the site. I told him I deleted everything. 5 minutes later, his phone buzzed. He looked at me, confused. Dude, I just got a text from a number that says, "You found him." We both froze. Then my Wi-Fi router restarted itself, and the TV in the living room, the one not even connected to the internet, flickered on. Static. Then a voice, same tone as before. One victim, one witness, one decision. Alex looked at me, half smiling, half terrified. Bro, what is this? Before I could answer, the TV showed us sitting there. Live feed from above. There was no camera in that room. We left the house that night and didn't come back for a week. When I finally did, there was another box waiting, smaller this time. Inside was a single USB drive labeled EVALUATE and a sticky note. They judged you already. I don't even know what's on that drive. It's still sitting on my desk, sealed in a Ziploc bag, because part of me knows that whatever's on it isn't meant to be seen. But sometimes, when it's quiet, I can hear that same faint whispering again. Not from my speakers this time, from behind the walls. Edit. It's been 2 weeks since I posted this part. Someone just DM'd me on Instagram from an account called @witness0001. They sent a picture of me from tonight, sitting here, typing this. I don't have any windows open. The morning after the USB arrived, I went to work like nothing happened. Pretending was easier than explaining. Every time I tried to tell someone the truth, it came out sounding insane, like I'd fallen for some elaborate hoax. But when I swiped my badge at the door of the office, the reader beeped red. Access denied. My boss waved me in with his card instead, said the system had reset overnight. The IT guy was already there, standing by my desk before I sat down. He wasn't the regular one, new face, no name tag. He just looked at me and said, "Your device is on the network again." "What device?" I asked. He smiled, thin and practiced, and tapped his phone. "Whatever you connected last night." I hadn't even turned my laptop on since the box. When I got home, the power was out. All my neighbors' lights were fine, but mine? Dead. The air was still. No hum from the fridge, no traffic outside. I lit a candle and saw something scratched into the inside of my front door. Tiny letters, done with a knife or a key. Evaluate equals evidence. I turned around too fast and knocked the candle over. For a split second, the flame hit the edge of the box from before, the one the hard drive came in, and I saw more writing inside it, drawn in marker. Check mirror at 3 a.m. I didn't want to, but I didn't sleep either. At exactly 3 a.m., Every phone in the house buzzed at once. Mine, my old one in the drawer, even an unplugged tablet. All of them showed the same notification. The witness is ready. And then the bathroom light turned itself on. I walked in, holding my phone like a weapon. The mirror was fogged over, even though the room was freezing. Slowly, letters began to form in the steam, like invisible fingers were tracing them from the other side. Upload accepted. My phone's camera opened by itself. The screen glitched, then switched to the front camera, and what I saw wasn't my reflection. It was a live video of another room. A basement, maybe? A table, a laptop, and someone sitting there typing. For a second, I thought it was a live stream, but then the figure tilted their head and looked straight at me. It was me. The next day, I got a DM on Twitter from a brand new account, at forum logs. No followers, no posts. The message just said, "Nice upload." I didn't answer, but they kept sending messages. Each one was a transcript of things I'd said in my apartment over the last week. Private things. Things no mic could have picked up unless one had been hidden there. When I tore the place apart looking for bugs, I found nothing except an old receipt taped under my desk. It was for a coffee I'd never ordered. The timestamp matched the moment I'd opened that first dark web link weeks ago. A few days later, I started noticing QR codes, random ones, stickers on bus stops, lampposts, even one inside a McDonald's bathroom stall door. They were all the same shape, slightly off-center squares, like the pattern was watching me back. Curiosity got the better of me. I scanned one while I was waiting for my latte at Starbucks. My screen flashed white, then displayed a single sentence. "Welcome back, moderator number 002. I dropped my phone. When I picked it up again, the camera was recording on its own. Behind me, every person in line was staring at their own phones. Then one by one, they looked up, directly at me, like they'd all heard the same sound at once. I left the drink on the counter and ran. I tried calling Alex, straight to voicemail. Then a text came through. "He doesn't have this number anymore." From my own contact name. That night, my apartment door was open a few inches when I got home. Inside, nothing was taken, but every mirror, every reflective surface, was turned toward the ceiling, and my laptop, which I'd locked in a drawer, was sitting on the table. Screen on. There was a file named Witness Log 002. When I opened it, it was a list of names. Half of them were people I'd known, old classmates, co-workers, even my ex. Each name had a timestamp beside it. The most recent one was mine. Then a message at the bottom. "The forum thanks you for your contribution." I packed a bag and drove out of the city. No destination, just anywhere that wasn't there. Every time I stopped for gas or food, I'd see it. On receipts, billboards, even random TikTok captions. The black hole emoji and the same 3 words. Evaluate, witness, execute. I didn't sleep for almost 2 days. When I finally did, it was in some roadside motel outside Indianapolis. The wallpaper was peeling, the air smelled like bleach, and the TV had only one working channel, static. Just as I started drifting off, a voice came from the hallway. "Room 19, your upload isn't complete." I froze. That was my room. The knob turned once, twice. I heard a quiet laugh, not menacing, just casual, like someone who already knew how the story ended. Then silence. When I looked the next morning, there was a USB drive slipped under the door. The label read, "Final Evidence." I didn't take it. I left the key, the bag, everything. Now I'm writing this from a library computer 3 states away. I checked the clock before I started, 3 p.m., and just noticed the reflection in the monitor glass behind me. Someone sitting 2 rows back, typing the same words as I am. Edit. A librarian just handed me a note she said someone left for me at the front desk. It's a Starbucks receipt. Under the total, someone wrote, "The witnesses never leave." I changed my name last week. I don't mean online, I mean legally. New ID, new state, new haircut. I ditched my car, bought a burner phone, got a job washing dishes in a town that barely shows up on Google Maps. Thought I could disappear. I thought wrong. Because the forum doesn't find you through accounts or addresses. It finds you through choices. And I made mine. It started again on a Wednesday. I was walking home from the diner. Late shift, around 2 a.m. Fog was thick, like unnatural thick. My shoes were soaked from a puddle that hadn't been there an hour ago. I turned the corner past an abandoned church, and there it was, a mirror, just leaning against the wall of the alley, a full-length one, no cracks, no dust, just clean, like someone had placed it there for me to find. There was something written across the top in black marker. "You look like justice." I didn't even get close to it. I just kept walking. But as I passed, I caught my reflection. Except it wasn't mine. The face blinked slower, moved after I did. It looked like me, sure, but older, paler, and it smiled. I didn't. That night, I got back to the little place I rent. A single room above an antique store. No TV, no internet, just a bed and a lock. But when I opened the door, the lock was broken, not busted open, removed, like it was never installed. My bag was untouched, my phone still off. But on the pillow, folded perfectly, was a black hoodie. New, crisp, with 3 letters stitched into the collar. M-O-D, and underneath it, a photo, printed on glossy paper, like from an old drugstore Kodak machine. It was me, sitting at the diner. Same apron, same face. But the timestamp said, 6 days ago, Tokyo, Japan. I haven't even left the state. 2 days later, I found a manila envelope taped to the underside of the bathroom sink. Inside, a stack of printed screenshots. Forum pages, old ones. Threads I remember reading, but never saved. Every post was marked with a tiny red fingerprint in the corner. Except one. This one had my name next to the word moderator. Moderator number 002. Verdict history. 8 passed. 1 incomplete. Emotional deviation. Red. Risk of empathy detected. Correction advised. Underneath it, a photo of a girl I didn't recognize. Caption. She was 14. She filmed everything. He laughed at her. Help her finish the story. And under that, 3 buttons again. Identify. Evaluate. Execute. Except this time, there was a 4th. Repeat. I tore the paper, burned it in the sink, sat there until the water turned cold and the flame choked out. But the next morning, when I opened my sock drawer, the printout was back. Perfect. Clean. No burn marks. I started hearing them again. Not voices, exactly. More like typing. The sound of a mechanical keyboard, always just behind me. I'd be brushing my teeth and hear it through the vent. I'd turn on the faucet to drown it out, and the water would type back. Drips and patterns. 3 drips. 2. 3 again. Morse code. I looked it up. We are watching The Witness. The town I'm in doesn't have a Starbucks. Closest one is 40 minutes away, off a highway that barely gets used anymore. I never went there. I never ordered anything. But this past Sunday, I got an email confirmation for a mobile order. Grande iced mocha, extra whip. Name, 002. Pickup time 3:33 a.m. There's no way to make mobile orders at that hour. I checked. I drove out anyway. When I got there, the building was closed, lights off, but the door opened. Inside, every table had a laptop on it, all identical, all showing live footage of different places, some familiar, some not. An airport, a hospital waiting room, a hotel hallway, a high school classroom, and one screen showed me, standing in that Starbucks, looking at the monitors. That one began to zoom in on my face, and then I smiled, even though I didn't. I'm not sure when I blacked out, but when I woke up, I was back in my room. There was blood on the floor. Not much, just a trail, leading to the closet. Inside was a flash drive, duct taped to the wall, written on the tape, for moderator, eyes only. Against everything in me, I plugged it in. Inside, a folder titled Unsent Mercy. Inside that, dozens of videos, each one named after a victim. Each video was a confession. Shaky cell phone clips, crying faces, people admitting things, ugly things, real things. A guy admitting he spiked his co-worker's drink at a party and blamed her for overreacting. A woman laughing as she described throwing away her sister's medication because she needed to hit rock bottom. A teenager showing screenshots of DMs they sent, pretending to be someone else, driving a classmate to attempt suicide. Some of them were only audio, some were clearly filmed without the person's knowledge. Every video had a menu at the end. Forgive, forget, forum. All of mine had forum highlighted. A week later, I received a plain black envelope in the mail. No stamp, no address. Inside, a plane ticket. One way. No destination listed. Just the date. Tomorrow. I burned it. The next morning, someone knocked on my door. A little girl, maybe 9 or 10, just standing there with a note. You're late. She's waiting. She handed me a mirror the size of a smartphone. The reflection, not mine. It was the girl from the video, the one who was 14, the one they said filmed everything. She was older now, like present day older, maybe 19, and she was smiling. I dropped the mirror. It didn't shatter, just played a laughing track from inside the glass, like a sitcom laugh, hollow, repetitive. I've stopped leaving the apartment. Every time I do, someone follows. Not the same person, just different people wearing identical black hoodies, stitched with tiny symbols, not letters, not numbers, coordinates. Everyone I've checked leads to missing persons cases, some never reported, some recent. One of them, Alex. He's been off social media since April, except he posted a photo last week on Instagram. It was him standing in front of a vending machine. Caption, still watching, still judging. But the account name wasn't his. It was mine. I've stopped checking my emails, but sometimes they open themselves. One came through yesterday. No subject. Inside was a single line. You thought justice was about making things right. We made it about making things yours. I am the moderator now. I don't remember choosing this, but I feel it, like a pulse, like a rhythm synced to my own. Every time someone gets away with something awful, I feel it. I know their name before I even hear it. I don't need the forum anymore. I am the forum. Edit. There's no need to ask for part 5. It's already happening. You're not reading this by accident. Check your reflection. If it doesn't blink with you, welcome to the Witness Network. I don't know how long I've been gone. Not gone like disappeared. Gone as in, I think whatever made me me has been slowly peeled away, frame by frame, like an old film melting under heat. I remember my name in pieces now, the way you remember a street you haven't walked since you were a kid. Familiar, but fogged over, out of sync. It's hard to tell what's mine anymore. My hands? Not sure. My thoughts? Maybe. My memories? No. Some of them I've never lived. I can feel them though, like ghosts nesting in the corners of my brain. And the worst part? They're not haunting me. I'm haunting them. The forum doesn't run on code. It doesn't need servers or moderators or onion links. It runs on guilt, on the feeling that someone deserves it. That hollow click in your head when you see a headline and think, good, they had it coming. That's all it takes. There's a room they bring you to when it's time. They never call it that, but I know what it is. I woke up in it 3 nights ago. Cold steel walls, no lights, no sound, no door, just a mirror the size of the wall. Black glass, not reflective. A single folding chair. A camera bolted into the ceiling, blinking slowly, like it's breathing. Then the mirror turned on, but it didn't show me. It showed you. The camera feed is a carousel, a slow scroll of people from all over the world. Some I know, most I don't. But all of them are doing the same thing. They're staring at a screen, watching something, clicking something. That's all it ever was. Just clicks. The first one I remember vividly, an older woman in a waiting room, headphones in, watching some disturbing animated story on her phone. The camera caught her smirk. A day later, she disappeared, left her phone in the seat, wallet untouched, never seen again. The forum called her a casual participant. You know what they call the people who click more than once? Engaged witnesses. They don't even need to know what they're clicking. Most of them think they're watching content. Creepy TikToks, true crime reels, edgy Reddit posts, those based on a true story, horror shorts on YouTube that always end in something too real. The ones that get reposted again and again. Every time you replay it, every time you share it, comment with "bro what?" or "this can't be real." You feed it. You are voting. You are confirming the data. You are uploading the next victim. The mirror told me this with no words. It just showed me the uploads. They start with the eye. Not physically, not at first. But there's this moment, a freeze frame, where the person being watched knows. You can see it in their eye. They feel the weight of it, like someone just put their finger on the middle of their forehead and started pressing. I saw my own freeze frame. It was from the day I clicked evaluate on that first post. I didn't even remember doing it. I told myself I didn't, but the footage didn't lie. I leaned forward, hovered, clicked, and a week later, a woman was found dead in a Target parking lot. No suspects, no witnesses, but there was footage. Forum footage, not shown to the public. Just enough for us to know she'd been processed. They love that word. Processed. Like she was data. I tried to break the mirror. I slammed the chair into it until my hands bled. But every hit just made it brighter, louder, until it was blaring laughter like a sitcom on loop. Laugh tracks from shows that haven't aired since the 90s, layered over screams and keyboard clacks and modem dials. Then it stopped. The mirror went black. Then this came on screen. Moderator number 002. Penance balance 0.87%. Unresolved uploads 3. Recovery protocol invert. And under that, witness list. Update. 1 new observer. That's when I understood. There was never a way to stop it. The forum doesn't delete people. It copies them. Duplicates their patterns. Replicates their choices. and sends them out again into the system under different usernames, different IPs, different lives. That girl I saw in the mirror, she wasn't a victim. She was me. Or maybe I'm her. It doesn't matter anymore. Because once you upload your first verdict, once you click yes, even if it's just curiosity, you get duplicated. They make a new version of you. They wipe your empathy, and they promote you. One click becomes your resume. 3 nights ago, I got an email with an audio file attached. No sender. Just the subject. Listen with your eyes closed. It started as static. Then I heard a heartbeat. Not mine. Someone else's. Followed by the sound of someone breathing through cloth, like they were inside a mask, like they were standing behind me. Then a voice. My voice, but older, tired, calm. Welcome back, moderator. Your witness is ready. Begin streaming when prepared. That same night, my laptop turned itself on again. This time, it wasn't the forum homepage. It was Twitch. A live stream was already scheduled under an anonymous account. Title: She Deserves to Be Watched. And the viewer count? 1. Just you. So I made a decision. If the forum uses participation to stay alive, then maybe I can feed it poison. Maybe I can flood it with too much. Too many uploads. Too many verdicts. Until it crashes. Until it chokes on its own algorithms. That's what I'm doing now. I've uploaded everything. Every name. Every confession. Every lie I ever caught someone in. Every friend who laughed when someone else was bullied. Every family member who said they probably wanted it. Every teacher who ignored the bruises. Every priest who smiled too wide. Every click. Every share. Every lol, this is messed up. Every time someone chose silence. All of them. Even you. Because this isn't a story. This is a user agreement. And by reading this, you've agreed to witness. Which means your file has already started compiling. Look in the corner of your screen. You'll see a pixel flicker. That's the upload bar. You can't stop it. You were chosen the moment you felt that chill. The second your curiosity beat out your instinct. The instant your eyes flicked over the word execute and you didn't flinch. Now you're part of it. Welcome to the forum. Edit. A new live stream just went live. The title is They're Reading It Right Now. Viewer count 1. You. Streamer. Moderator number 003. Guess who that is?